Hey everyone, it's Cinnamon Coffee here. Before I start talking about the person of the video, I just want to make it known. I do not support Wilbur, but I also do not support Shelby, as I believe supporting one but not the other would feel too strange personally. I do not watch either people. This video is to simply talk about someone who is scarily parasocial. The person of the video is a man by the name of Tyler Catastrophe, a Wilbur Soot fanboy, who has stated that he doesn't think Wilbur is an abuser. I don't feel people need context. But to be a good creator, I will tell you a brief bit of context. On February 21st, 2024, Shubble went on stream and accused Wilbur of abusing her. The reaction was immediate from fans on both sides. Wilbur Soot on the 24th of the same month, February, made a response on Twitter X, apologizing and acknowledging the accusations. The extent of the allegations against Wilbur consisted of him being a biter while they dated, living in filth to the point of it hurting him, and emotional manipulation. This is just a quick bit of context. Now that the context is out of the way, I want to show the video of Tyler stating that doesn't think Wilbur is an abuser. It's sped up, don't worry.
I don't think that Wilbur Soot is an abuser. And I know I've said that fairly indirectly in the past, especially recently, but I do feel like now it needs to be said point blank. Because as someone who has been a victim of abuse, sexual assault, and domestic violence, I know way too well what those things look like. And while I know that most of my audience knows how I approach things like this by now, I also know that if I post this video, there will probably be a lot of people who don't know me who see it. So I'm going to try to be as kind, direct, and clear-cut as I can. So I'm going to stick to 3 main points from Shovel's VODs. Please go and watch them yourself. You are under no obligation to think the way that I do. And then I'm going to touch on Wilbur's response. And then I think the general response needs to be addressed as well. Because Shovel's main points were that Wilbur was a slob, had a messy house, that she paid for a lot of her way to see him, and that he bit her. For point 1, let's be honest, most men aren't taught how to take care of themselves in their living spaces. And for men in their early 20s, that's a lot worse than it should be. Every man I dated in their late teens, early 20s was gross. That's just kind of par for the course. It sucks, but it is to be expected. And it is not by default malicious. 2, paying your own way, especially for a distance like that, is kind of expected. And when you take into account that they were both very successful in their respective careers at that point, paying your own expenses isn't by default malicious. And for the 3rd point, Shovel states very clearly in her follow-up VOD that she consented to the biting. She then went on to clarify that what she had an issue with was the fact that it hurt. And while I don't think anyone should be hurt in their relationships, at the end of the day, that is a communication issue. And whether it's just a poor communication or lack thereof, both parties are responsible for that. Because a lack of communication or poor communication on either side is not by default malicious. And at the end of the day, when no assault took place, and the end result is just a bad relationship, that is something you handle in private, like adults. And to air personal, adult dirty laundry to a very large, very young audience in a way that is incredibly vague and left open to interpretation is, at the end of the day, very dishonest and very irresponsible. And that is made evident by the resulting response, where Wilbur Soot met Shovel where she was at, gave a very direct and validating response that responded to what was said, addressed what was said, validated what was said, and gave evidence that he was making moves to be better. And when that mature adult response was received by a very angry young audience, it was received as an admission of guilt and seen as validation for the wildly exaggerated rumors that came from leaving that sort of thing open to interpretation. And now, every mention of his name, his band, his career, anyone that has anything to do with him is met with such vitriolic hatred that there's no room for anyone to improve anything at all. And when we live in a world where we are begging everyone and everything at all times to be better than it is, that kind of response does nothing but make everyone worse. And I stand with victims. I am one, several times over. But these sort of things have to be handled in a responsible way, because where we stand right now, with the internet being the way it is, what we've ended up creating under the guise of supporting victims is a culture that has trained children, teenagers, young adults, anyone who will listen, to be internet attack dogs for people that we don't know.
Now you might be thinking, oh Coffee, what's wrong with that video? Let me tell you first off, that this man has said that he has had a crush on Wilbur. I think we're like, since 2019, around the area, like that area of time. But in that video, he actively talks down about Shovel has said about her story. And I just feel like it's not on, like he states, but he has been a victim himself, which nobody can deny or confirm. But if he was a victim, he would know that talking down to other victims is a no-go. It's not helpful in any situation. What I find interesting is that he states that the allegations only state that Wilbur was just a bad boyfriend. Clearly, that is not just the case. Yes, he may have been a bad boyfriend, but abuse and being a bad partner are 2 different things. Shovel has stated that. She consented to the biting dart, however. She had to create a safe word because it would hurt that bad. Now here's a little personal thing about me. My ex was also a biter. The thing is, you can consent to biting because it's the thing that I could do. It's a thing that people do. I've done it. My ex has done it. However, as stated before, there is a high difference between being a bad partner and being abusive. Here's the video of Tyler talking about his crush on Wilbur.
I have had a crush on Will Gold since 2019 when I heard him laugh in the background of someone else's video and it felt like life itself leaned in to listen. Which is really inconvenient for me because I am very much a one soul at a time kind of person, so once I develop a crush, virtually no one else stands a chance ever. And at the time, I had just broken off a terrible engagement to a guy who didn't even fucking like me. And since then, I have only briefly dated one other person, who was wonderful, but it didn't work out. And so in all of that time, regardless of how many people have tried and been interested in me, I have not been able to find the interest for any single one of them. Because I have a fucking crush on a guy I have interacted with once. And I don't even officially know his sexuality. That's a whole other thing. And I have tried. I have tried so hard to move.
Little interjection. I also had a crush on Wilbur once upon a time because I was a dream SMP girl back in the day. But once you find out that the person you have a crush on is horrible, you know what you do? You move on.
Move on from this, to let it go, because I want so badly for it not to cross over into parasocial territory. But in like the 7 minutes that we spoke to each other, one, every time we made eye contact, I thought my heart was gonna fucking burst out of my chest and fly away. Two, I was so nervous that my head just shut off and my mouth had a mind of its own. And anyone who knows me and has ever met me knows that I don't get nervous about people. What the hell was that? Three, he somehow managed to make me want to write music again, something I have not done since my last band broke up in 2019 and I got hit by a car and couldn't sing anymore. And I can sing again now. It took several years, but I got it back because I'm amazing. But how dare you pull my spark back out from underneath the ashes I spent years burying it under because it hurt too much to think about. In like 2 sentences. It's rude. And 4, he failed to take a selfie with me because he was operating on like iPhone settings and I have an Android and I accidentally called him adorable, and immediately wanted to swallow my fucking tongue. Because you don't flirt with people when they're working. That's rude. I paid to... I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. And my point is, it's a whole thing that I would like to no longer have to deal with. And all of this is made worse because I have been recognized at every single concert I've been to in the past year and a half, including 2 of his. And I've been on the Lovejoy Nation podcast twice. So no matter how many times I try to sweep this under the rug and move on with my life, there's always that little thing in the back of my head saying, there's a non-zero chance. Oh my god. So basically, the way I see it, I finally say fuck it. I make this video, I say it all out loud to the ether that is the internet. Worst case scenario, he sees it, he says, hey, not for me. I move on with my life, it's fine. I'm an adult, who cares? I'll take a no over uncertainty any day of the week. Neutral option, nothing happens. Oh well, I guess. Best case scenario... You know? Because honestly, it doesn't matter what I'm doing any day ever for the rest of my life. If he was like, hey, do you want to get dinner or something? I'd say yes. Obviously, I'm delusional. It's fine. But at this point, I'm just so over the not doing anything about the things that I want. You know? What's up with that? No one gets anywhere that way. So fuck it. I've said it out loud. What else is there to do at 9 p.m. on a... Is it Friday? I think it's Friday. Anyway... It is what it is, I guess. Okay, love you, bye. Also, I don't have a ring light. I have this flower lamp. It's very yellow, but yellow's my favorite color, so... A win is a win.
I'm so sorry for making you all watch that. But clearly, there is a biased dart when this man defends Wilbur anyway. I don't have much else to say other than this is pathetic to see Dot. Stop it, it's parasocial and weird. Anyway, other news. I start college again on Monday. I stream every Tuesday and Wednesday at 2 p.m. BST and every Saturday at whatever time. Make sure you have notifications on so you don't miss it. Enjoy the rest of the speed paint, stay safe, make sure to take care of yourself and don't be parasocial.